Your personal triggers are not your personal excuses to be disrespectful to people. Using your triggers as an excuse to how you acted instead of saying you're sorry and taking accountability for how you acted is just another way to allow yourself to do it again without repercussions, because you've made a justification for your injustice behavior in your head that made it seem like it's okay to do it. If X, Y, and Z makes you feel X, Y, and Z, then you are allowed to have an outburst and be disrespectful. That's a lie. You are not allowed. You are in full control. You are in full control. But if you don't want to take accountability for what you did and you use what you've been through as an excuse to what you did, then you're not taking accountability for your behavior, and that behavior doesn't change. It just becomes a loop and a cycle where the next day something else could happen, and that behavior can happen to maybe a new person, but you've made a justification in your head as to why it was okay because of how it made you feel, instead of taking the accountability that regardless of how you feel, you still have to speak respectfully, that regardless of your opinions, you should find out before you react, that despite your feelings, you need to remain calm before you speak. If you're not willing to look at the behavior that you did and take accountability that you chose to respond in that behavior, regardless of the emotions, regardless of how you were feeling, regardless of being overwhelmed and overstimulated, everyone has trauma, everyone has triggers, and everyone can feel overwhelmed and overstimulated and frustrated. Yet everyone has a choice of how they talk to you, just as you have a choice of how you talk to them. And the difference is they have taken accountability every time they've messed up, because everybody does mess up. We've all messed up, have we not? But there's two types of people: the people that have been taught how to take accountability and see what they did wrong and own up to it and say, okay, I overreacted, I should have taken a beat, I should have taken a beat, or I did not know that and I'm sorry that I went after you, I shouldn't have, I'm sorry. Saying I'm sorry to someone that you did wrong is the first step in ever understanding growth, and taking accountability for what you did wrong is the first step into healing and being in control over your emotional responses in the future scenarios. When you don't take responsibility for your own behavior and use your past and use how you felt and use what you thought as the validation, as justification for your injustice behavior, it justifies how you behaved, even though if you were to take a look back at what you did, was it something that would bring justice? Was it something that is actually justified to do? No, it wasn't. How you responded was not justified to do. But if we use what we've been through as a crutch to make a justification for it, it no longer takes the accountability. For some reason, it takes that accountability feeling away, where we feel like we're in the right because that person made me feel this way, so I responded that way, and they should have just done X, Y, and Z, and so I'm right. I'm in the right here. That's denial. Denial is the river. That's denial. It is when you are refusing to yet look at what is hurting inside of yourself that made you respond that way, because we all have shadows inside of ourselves that we have to look at. If you don't ever want to put light, which is the accountability, the acknowledgement, onto the areas that you're needing growth in, which is your emotional responses when you're upset, how you treated someone, X, Y, and Z, that's your shadow work. Your insecurities, that's your shadow work. If you don't want to take accountability in the light of what you did to someone based off of your shadow insecurities, of your triggers, you will never be able to grow as a person. Instead, you will be stuck in a cycle that loops and loops and loops, where you're doing the same thing to other people. The more that you take accountability for your inner work that you need to do on, and like you realize, okay, I did react because of my trigger, I'm sorry. That's acknowledging that that's why you reacted is a good way to start doing that work to heal that part of you, where you have more control of your response in the future. And then when you have more control of your response in the future, it gets a lot more respect for you, because when you have the control over your emotional body to have the respect for somebody, even if you're not sure if you're mad at them, even if you feel emotional, you have the ability to walk away, you have the ability to take a beat, then it will bring a lot more respect onto your plate. And it also will take you out of having to repeat the same cycles of the same behavior, of the same situations with different people in life, because hopefully the people in your life will continue to evolve and grow. And as you continue to evolve and grow, you don't have the same issues with the same people. It's either a new relationship with someone else, it's going to be a new job somewhere else, it's always going to be a new group of people who you'll end up doing the same cycle with and behaving the same way with, because of the same insecurities that you have decided to not look at, because it sucks to look at it, it sucks to work on it. You don't want to put light on the areas where you feel insecure. You want to keep hiding them, because the more you hide them, the more they're not there, because you don't see it. But if you don't put the light on it with your accountability of your behavior, you will never grow out of it. Instead, you will continually justify your injustice behavior towards people, your disrespect towards people. You'll justify the disrespect being merited, like you're allowed to do this to somebody because they made me feel this way. I was allowed to do that to them because they made me feel this way, but I shouldn't have had them respond. They should not have been allowed to respond to me, but I was allowed to do this to them because they made me feel this way. That is called not taking accountability. When you start to realize, I came at this person wrong because it made me feel this way, but I came at this person wrong, and then they responded, and it hurt my feelings. That's growth. And then take it a step further and go to that person and be like, I should not have done that. I should have talked to you, kept my cool, walked away, cooled myself down. You're in control of how you respond, as long as you choose to allow yourself to be in control of how you respond. And that's just a simple fact. I never give excuses for people, because I've been through more than half the people that tell me they've been through things. We've all been through things. You get to choose who you become regardless of the things that you've been through, and you choose who you become by how you treat people in your life and how you allow yourself to be able to gain control of your emotional responses. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Bye.